ChemicaSoft provides fragrance manufacturers with an easy-to-use system for the creation of accurate regulatory documents. Documents such as IFRA Compliance statements and allergen statements, MSDS and Certificate of Analysis. In recent years, the compliance guidelines of the International Fragrance Association have become increasingly complex. So without an effective tool, checking for compliance can be extremely time-consuming and difficult. ChemicaSoft provides a cost-effective solution to this and many other challenges. I will now demonstrate IFRA compliance checking. First, we'll find the relevant fragrance by entering a keyword and doing a quick search of the product database. We click on the product code to open the product screen, and under the main menu you'll see the product code and the product name. And below that there are 6 tabs. These help us to navigate through product information and related tasks. Under the formulation tab you can see that this fragrance has just 5 ingredients. Now, to generate an IFRA compliance statement, we go to the documentation tab and navigate down to IFRA statement. There are a number of drop-down boxes you can see now which enable us to select the right options. For example, you can select the template that you want. These templates can be configured in global options. Here we specify the IFRA product category that the fragrance is to be used in. In this case it's a conditioner, which is category 9. And if the customer has specified a dose rate for the fragrance, we enter it here. Alternatively, we leave it blank and the system will calculate and give the maximum dose rate at which the fragrance would be compliant in that product category. The customer name can be selected from the database if you want it to appear on the conformance statement. And then we simply click on Generate PDF button in order to do the conformance checking and generate the statement. Here is the resulting IFRA conformance statement. You can see the details of supplier, of the product, and in this case we hadn't specified a dose rate, so it tells us the maximum dose rate for IFRA compliance is 3.33% in this particular product category. Note that the wording and other features and layout of the template, the logo, etc. are fully customizable using global options. Now let's see how the system handles non-compliance. To demonstrate, we'll create a different version of the cinnamon fragrance. Using ChemicaSoft's formula development tool, we can simply copy the formula, and I want this one to be a new version of the existing fragrance. So I'm going to check that box, and once it's created I'll add one more material. I'm going to add to the formula trans-2-hexanol at 0.5%, and once I click on add, we'll see that raw material down in the formula. You can also note that the carrier, dipropylene glycol, the percentage of that in the formula has automatically been adjusted because that auto quantity box was checked. Now let's check the compliance of this new version in the same application as before. We specify hair conditioner in the drop-down box, and this time I'll specify the dose rate of 2%. The system immediately returns a non-compliance message, and it shows the offending material, which is trans-2-hexanol, that it would be found in the end product at 0.01%, which is above the IFRA cutoff limit. So from this information, the perfumist can then take corrective action or choose another product for the specified application and dose rate. To explain how the system determines non-compliance, we need to go to the raw materials database, because IFRA limits are raw material specific and the standards used in the formula checking are stored in the raw material database. So you'll see that there are 7 tabs. This is to make it easy to navigate through the relevant raw material data. Under the regulatory tab, there is another set of tabs for the various categories of regulatory data. Now, under the IFRA Specs tab, we can see that this material is restricted and has cut-off limits in most of the product categories. And for hair conditioner, you can see the maximum dose rate is 0.02% as it appears on the non-compliance message. So we've looked at how ChemicaSoft detects and reports non-compliant ingredients in a top-level formulation. But formulations often contain another level of materials, for example, fragrance concentrates or keys, or essential oils, which may also contain restricted materials. These sub-formula materials must be consolidated in case they appear in more than one place and checked against IFRA restrictions. ChemicaSoft checks compliance at both of these levels in just a few seconds, and I'll show you an example now. In this example, we're going to check if the same cinnamon fragrance, that's the first one that we used, will be safe to use in a lip balm at 3% dosage. So we need to specify in the drop-down what the IFRA category is, and if we want the product name to print out in a particular way, we can enter it here. Now, in just a couple of seconds, the system is able to tell us that this scenario is IFRA non-compliant, and the reason for non-compliance. In this case, that cinnamic aldehyde is contained at a higher level than the IFRA safety limit. If we go back to the formula, we can see that cinnamic aldehyde is not found in the main formula, but it is a component of the cinnamon bark oil. We'll go to the raw material properties to view the components of the oil. Then click on the regulatory tab and go to components. There we can see that cinnamic aldehyde makes up 75% of the oil. Now, if we look up cinnamic aldehyde in the raw material database, here we can see that this material is restricted in many product categories, and this example was non-compliant because lip balm has a lower cut-off limit than in hair conditioner, which was used in the first example. If you remember, that was an IFRA compliant scenario. In summary, ChemicaSoft enables quick and accurate checking of IFRA compliance for your perfumist and generation of IFRA compliance statements for your customers. This demo has just scratched the surface. ChemicaSoft for flavour and fragrance manufacturers provides a whole suite of tools for the future that cover regulatory compliance, formula and brief management for your R&D team and salespeople, as well as manufacturing and stock management. If you would like more information on these solutions, please visit ChemicaSoft.com or email info@ChemicaSoft.com. We look forward to hearing from you.